So the next update is called the Wild Update.
So MinecraftLive took place this past Saturday the 16th, and in that live event, they announced what is to come in 1.18 and in 1.19, which is called the Wild Update. This is looking to be the second favorite after the Nether update. I was in a watch party with a couple of friends and we made several cheers for the content we were getting. So for this video, I want to discuss my thoughts on what we heard and give my speculations and suggestions towards the end of the video, just in case someone from Mojang is listening. I won't necessarily go over every detail since by now you've probably seen live stream yourself or other breakdowns. The first feature discussed in 1.19 is the Deep Dark biome, the Warden, and more, being moved from the caves and cliffs back to this update. King B-Dogs has done a wonderful job on this, going far beyond what was initially promised us last year, to the point of creating a brand new, enormous structure. The ancient cities are terrifying. I can't wait to explore one of these. There isn't much to say about the layout or design of the city. It looks beautiful and mysterious, and it's interesting how the Skulk family of blocks have seemingly taken over the city. I love the sound of the player walking on what I'm going to call Skulk vines for now. I also like the music, if you could call it that. I don't know if that is a new song that is going to be released in 1.19 or if it's just for showcasing these features. How the Warden spawns is super fascinating also, the way it interacts with the various Skulk blocks. All these features are really great, being that they are very, very unique in functionality. The renewability of the Skulk blocks is also quite fascinating. I can't wait to experiment with the darkness effect the Shrieker gives the player. Yes, it's an actual effect that the player will get. The second feature discussed was updating existing biomes, giving them unique atmospheres to experience. One of the biomes getting the facelift is the swamp. A couple years ago, there was a community vote to determine which existing biome will get updated. The losing biomes would come later. The mountains won and were put into the caves and cliffs. The swamp was one of those losers. If I remember right, I voted for the swamp back then. So all the features that were showcased in that vote are now coming. The boat with chest, frogs, and the mangrove tree, which is what I am most excited about. The roots look great, and I have already thought of a few building ideas for them. I also like that Corey, I'm not going to try saying his last name, has decided to add a mangrove swamp.
Surrounded by them. So as you can see in this video, walking around, you're just completely surrounded in the mangrove swamp. It's just mangroves as far as the eye can see, just like in real life. And you have all the mangroves propped up on their roots, growing in the water, so you can take your boat underneath like Agnes likes. And you're just completely surrounded by the awesome beauty of it.
It's so beautiful.
Oh, and
I think the plank's texture needs some tweaking, but the tree itself looks fantastic. And then there are fireflies. They look beautiful, and I like how the frogs can eat them, or try at least. And here with the fireflies, they're going to help me segue into my speculations. It's unclear here whether they are physical in the world, or they are just a particle effect, just rendering in visually. It appears the frogs are trying to eat them, but it looks like they miss frequently. One thing that I'm wondering about, if they do exist, how you might be able to collect them. I don't know if it would be possible, but what if there was a jar, or maybe you could use a bottle, since it is already in the game, to somehow collect them, similar to how you might collect the dragon's breath. So there's a suggestion right there for you. When they were discussing updating the biomes to have their own identity, they showed this concept art of Birch Forest. While they didn't directly announce any specifics, I wonder what they could add or change. Here in the picture it shows a fungus growing on the birch trees, and the trees themselves have additional branches instead of the single trunk. Neither Agnes or Lydia mentioned this, so it can't be confirmed either way. They didn't say they were updating the birch forest, yet they have this concept art for it, as well as concept art for the swamp, which we know is receiving an update. And speaking of the swamp, this is one of the losers from 2 years ago. This is the first time they have announced updating or adding features related to a losing vote. Now, I believe the vote for 113, the aquatic update, is the only time that they have said directly that the losers of the vote will never be seen again. Every other vote, they said those losers would be updated sometime later. My speculation here is that they might, and I'm emphasizing might, update 1 or 2 extra biomes. Here's a tweet from Corey saying 1.19 may receive more, like perhaps the desert from the vote where the taiga won and was added to 1.14. I'm not saying this is a bad decision, but I wonder why they haven't done anything for either of these biomes before touching the swamp. Now, going back to the concept drawing of the swamp, in addition to the lily pads, there are actual lily flowers in the water. This isn't so much of a speculation, but a hope of mine. When they added the spore blossom, they only coated it where you can put it on the bottoms of the blocks. I really hope they change that and/or add lily flowers or something like that. So in summary, I am very excited for everything coming. I can't wait to start tinkering with these features. I can just imagine a speedrunner accidentally stumbling into the ancient city and triggering Warden. I almost pay to see that. So that's the end of the video. I would love to continue this conversation below or on any of the social media platforms listed in the description. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.